Hello everyone and welcome. Make a cup of your favorite drink and get comfortable because this is a wonderful time for news stories from Yellow Cat. Send your own stories in the comments below and maybe they'll be in our new video. Lawyers of Reddit. What is the dumbest thing your client has ever done? Judge was determining if a defendant qualified for a public defender. Judge: Sir, do you have any income? Defendant: Yes, Your Honor. Judge: From what source do you have income? Defendant: Selling marijuana, Your Honor. This happened in Illinois and the defendant was not under oath. My dad was a lawyer in the Navy. One of his first big cases was defending a guy accused of falling asleep at his post during Vietnam. My dad was all psyched, delivering what he thought was well-prepared defense to the judge. The judge interrupted him, telling him to turn around and wake up his client. My all-time favorite is a client I had who was charged with driving under the influence, DUI, who wanted to challenge the charges on the grounds he didn't think he was drunk and the test was administered improperly. Who appeared at his court hearing? Rip-roaring drunk. Twice. And then, both times, he got into his car and tried to drive away. And both times, the police promptly stopped him, administered a breathalyzer, and charged him with DUI and related offenses. We didn't win that case. Told a client, don't say anything to the police, wait until I get there. Confesses to a crime he wasn't being investigated for. This was relayed to me by the RP manager. Individual stores didn't have RP managers, they existed at the district level of the office supply chain I worked for in high school. A young man, let's call him Eric, had been with the company for almost a year. He worked in office supplies and was, by this time, known to management to have light fingers. At some point, the store manager called young Eric into his office to discuss his continued employment with the company. When Eric entered the room, there was a strange man who was introduced as the RP manager for the district. The conversation from the RP manager was very short, hoping to elicit a confession to the pens they knew he had stolen. Eric, we know it's been going on. If you tell us all about it, we'll promise not to press charges against you. Eric just about crapped himself and proceeded to spill all the details. The assistant manager was bringing in additional software, packing it in empty boxes of printer paper, and selling the printer paper to his friends, and somehow writing off the software as stolen or returned. Eric's job was to fetch the boxes from the back where the friends came to pick them up. Had a client show up to a child custody hearing high on methamphetamine. When she arrived, she began screaming at the judge and demanding that her no-good meth head baby daddy be drug tested. I took her in the hallway and told her that if the judge ordered a drug test for the dad, he would have to order one for her. End of argument. Not a lawyer here, still in law school, but assisting lawyers with cases. One day, we got involved in a caretaking debate for an old woman. Her daughter and an attorney were declared legal guardians for her due to dementia and her high age. Her niece got us involved questioning the motives of the daughter as an assisted legal guardian. Long story short, her motives were definitely questionable. She stole $10,000s of dollars and even her mom's vacuum cleaner and silver cutlery, which resulted in the poor woman eating with her fingers, and the case seemed to be a piece of cake for us. Then the niece, our client, took the old lady away to a senior citizen home to guarantee she was taken care well of. Her intentions were gold. Unfortunately, daughter and attorney were still legal guardians and had the right to determine the place of residence. In the end, our client was charged with kidnapping and we lost the case. Moral of the story, don't ever do anything case-related before talking to your lawyer. Seriously, don't. Not my client, but I was on the prosecutor's side when a defendant failed to appear for court. His attorney can't reach him, nobody knows where he is, so we all sit there for about half an hour until the judge gets sick of it and moves on with the docket. We found out later that day that the defendant decided to rob a 7-Eleven the night before and was sitting in jail 2 counties over when he should have been in court. My ex-wife's lawyers, yes, plural, would be perfect for answering this thread. She hasn't followed a court order yet. In fact, I'm on my way to court now because she still isn't following the court's orders. Here is a summary. In the past 4+ years, she has opened numerous CPS investigations, has filed police reports accusing me of various offenses falsely, has had me detained with my son because of these false reports, has tried to kick in my front and back doors of the house, has followed me home randomly, has accused several people in my life of abuse towards our child, has started a website whose sole purpose was to bash me and every judge who we have ever seen. On top of this, she has blatantly ignored several court orders, including failure to pay child support as owed. She has repeatedly lied to her attorneys, or maybe herself too, who knows, and told them she is a victim and I am the devil, etc. She has consistently neglected to mention a lot of the stuff she has done or has admitted to doing, so her attorneys are constantly being ambushed by the truth. Finally, she has a history of not paying these attorneys, so they aren't exactly thrilled to be representing her and quit the first chance they get. She is up to about 10 attorneys now. On the flip side, I have spent/borrowed over $100,000 now to keep my same attorney. I probably will never be able to afford a college education for my child, or maybe even able to afford having any future children, because I am not sure I will ever be able to pay these attorney's fees off. Especially considering it is still going on and I am racking up fees faster than I can pay them. Fortunately, I was not the attorney in question, but guy is convicted of some traffic-related offense, loses his driver's license, effective immediately, gets in the car and drives home, along with his lawyer. I am not a lawyer, but this worked out super well for me. I was hit by this 65-year-old drunk lady who also happened to be on methadone at the time. The cops knew her husband, who was a firefighter, and so they didn't breathalyze or do any tests and didn't charge her with DUI. My EMTs had said, "That lady is so drunk she's going to buy you a ticket to Disney World," which is how I knew that she was drunk at the time of the accident, but I had no proof to bring to the table in the lawsuit because if the cops didn't charge or make notes, then you cannot add it later. So we get to my deposition and she shows up. She argues with me the entire time over my points, and her lawyer keeps having to tell her that she needs to be quiet. Mind you, this lady had actually ruined my friends and my lives. So I was becoming less than patient with her calling me a liar when she got off scot-free. She exclaims to my lawyer, "Even the police report is wrong." What do you mean it's wrong? It has me coming from the wrong place. Where were you coming from? My friend's bar. Really? Did you have any drinks at this bar? Well, yeah. How many? I don't know. They don't charge me. They just keep refilling my glass. Cue her lawyer's facepalm as this is all on tape. So I'm a law student, but I work at a volunteer desk that helps people complete the forms for court. The awful part is I can't give any legal advice since I'm not a lawyer, which means I can't tell these people they don't have a case. However, the stories are great. There's the lady who sues celebrities. She asked me to help her sue Robert De Niro. Someone else helped her with a suit for Matthew McConaughey. She was doing it on behalf of her kids and their fathers for in excess of $100 million. She didn't even know how to spell their names. Then there's the guy who is suing DirecTV, CNN, Fox, and who knows who else. Apparently, he's the one you have to thank for putting color on your TV shows and adding animation. He was suing because they hadn't paid him. Ever. Finally, there's the lady who is suing her former employer for giving her too much money on her last paycheck. She told me they did it because they liked her and wanted her to come back. There was maybe $60 extra on the check. She was suing for $10,000. My law teacher would tell stories about a juvenile court he used to work in one of the more questionable areas of California. Apparently, they had a real problem with defendants coming in with sagging pants and court officials showing up in beach clothes. The judge finally got so fed up with it that he kept a box of rope for an impromptu belt and a box of neckties behind his desk, and he'd begin court proceedings by lobbing ample amounts of both over his stand at anyone he felt was in need of them. I worked for the public defender's office and met a client in jail for a lineup that he had adamantly demanded regarding a crime with multiple witnesses. I met the client for the first time in a separate room to let him know how it would go down and what to expect. This is the kind of lineup you traditionally see on television, where there are a number of similar-looking people standing shoulder to shoulder in front of mirrored glass. They pull the people for the lineup from the jail population, and despite their best efforts, this is not a huge population. I walk in to meet the client, and he has a sty on his left lower eyelid the size of a golf ball. It was the most identifiable mark on a human's face I have ever seen. He still demanded the lineup and was identified instantly by every single witness without a shred of doubt in their mind. He still demanded a trial, and the sty was gone by the time the trial commenced. Not a lawyer, but a legal secretary. It's illegal to kill crocodiles in Australia, so our client filmed himself and his friends doing it. Funnily enough, they got caught. Going to be kind of hard to disprove a video that clearly shows the animal being killed and subsequent celebration. Plus, photos with the carcass. What an idiot! Another guy robbed the pub he worked for, stole the work ute, drove to the city, went straight to the casino, parked the work car in the lot, lost $10,000 playing blackjack, then bought two $500 H's and was entertaining them when the cops arrested him. Classic. There are probably others, but I've been doing this for 10 years, so they've all blurred together. People are dumb. I work as a legal aid lawyer in a Canadian province. I have had many dumb clients who did many dumb things. Wore a smoke weed everyday t-shirt while attending their drug trafficking/proceeding trial, attempted to smuggle a cigarette to their inmate partner via their baby's diaper, intentionally pooped their pants on the way to court to delay their matter, denied driving under the influence. Upon search by police, a full highball glass of rum and coke was located in their jacket pocket. One of my first clients was a delirious hobo. When we were meeting at my office, he was ranting and his dentures fell out and landed on my legal pad. He picked them up and put them back in his mouth and continued to rant as if nothing happened. Same guy appeared in court a few weeks later and refused to let the security detail inspect his hobo bindle. He told them he wasn't going to appear without his bindle and left. He was arrested that afternoon for failure to appear. Guy came in and said he wanted to sue Oral-B because their toothbrushes kept cutting his gums. He asked if I wanted to see his evidence. I said no, but he still proceeded to dump a grocery bag of used, slightly bloody toothbrushes onto my desk. Another good one. Doing a trial for a client in a circuit court about an hour outside of the city I operate in. Client decides to get a cab out there and tells the driver they'll pay them when they arrive. Client arrives in this community and gets the driver to stop at local convenience store across the street from the courthouse. Client proceeds to attempt to steal 5 26-ounce bottles of rum and is promptly arrested and taken into custody. Trial is postponed as we spend the day unsuccessfully applying for bail. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, the likes, and the comments. In the next video.